Okay, good morning class. So today this is for class 12E, all right? So I believe this is for the first time we are meeting on camp. Anyways, so today we're going to start with Constitution, all right? So there is a chapter named Constitution in your syllabus, all right? So I'm going to start with the Constitution. So why I'm about to start with Constitution is because if you see, Constitution can be called as a backbone of all the sources of law in India. All right, whatever laws we have, whatever acts we have in our country, all these are protected under the Constitution of our country. So Constitution gives us protection to all of its citizens, and this is the reason why we are going to start with Constitution. All right, so when we say Constitution, the Constitution is important because it protects individual freedoms and its fundamental principles governed by the state. So Constitution is important. Why? Constitution is important because it does what? It protects every individual's freedom. It protects every individual's freedom and its fundamental principles governed by the state. All right? So we can term Constitution as Gita, Bible, Quran. For example, I am just giving you an example. Why it's important? Because when we look into a religion, there are three major types of religion in this world, isn't it? There are Hinduism, Islam, and Christianity, isn't it? Now, for Hinduism, those who practice Hindu, they follow Gita, Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? That is their main book, holy book for Hindus. Over there, all the Hindu laws, all the basic principles of Hindu law has been written over there. Similarly, when we go to Islam, then it's Quran, holy book of Quran, isn't it? In Quran, we have everything which has to be followed by Muslims. Similarly, Bible, all Christians who follow Christianity, a Bible is a holy book, isn't it? And they follow Bible. In the same manner, for a country which is a democratic country, Constitution is the same. All right? Constitution, we can term it as a holy book of our country. Why? Because it protects an individual's freedom. Today, I've been able to move freely within my country, isn't it? I am allowed to move from Kalimpong to Siliguri, from Siliguri to Delhi, from Delhi to anywhere within the territory of my country, within the jurisdiction of my country. The reason is simple, because my freedom has been guaranteed under the Constitution of our country. It protects my freedom. What does it do? It protects my freedom. Today I can live freely, I can talk freely, isn't it? Why? The reason is my freedom of speech, my freedom of expression has been protected by the Constitution. All right? So what does Constitution do? Constitution is the supreme. All right? So under the Constitution comes the state. Now state over here, in the term of political science, state doesn't mean West Bengal, Gujarat, all right? State over here means country. It means, state means country, and country, India, isn't it? We live in India. All right? So Constitution is the supreme law. All right? Under constitution comes state, that is our country. And under state comes our fundamental rights. Under states comes our fundamental rights. So it has been laid up. Firstly is our constitution, which is the supreme law of our country. Under constitution comes the state. Now who is the state? State is our country. And under state comes our fundamental rights, which has been included in our syllabus. Alright? So, as I've already read, the constitution is important because it protects individuals' freedom. The constitution places the government power in the hands of the citizens. Alright? And number 3 point is it limits the power of government and establishes a system of check and balance. Now, the third point is important. Why constitution is important? Firstly, the number 1 point is it protects the freedom of an individual. Alright? And it not only protects but it limits the power of the government and establish a system of check and balance. What does this mean is, there is a government, alright? Now as we all know, in India, we choose our own government after 5 years, isn't it? Now if there is no constitution, what will happen? The democracy, the freedom of vote, the right to vote, which has been included, which has been protected by the constitution of a country, will be in danger if there is no constitution. Then will come dictatorship, isn't it? Why? Because there is no constitution, there is no supreme law to guide the government to protect its citizen. Then there will be a chaos. There might be a chance of chaos if there is no constitution. Alright? So it not only protects but it acts like a check and balance between the government and the citizen. For example, supposing a government comes with a new idea or with a new plan or with a new proposal. All right, let's say this is just for an example. If the government comes with a proposal which is not benefit to its citizens. All right, now there is a black law, let's say, and the law says that certain rights of its citizens are going to be abolished from so and so date. Now there is a chance of big chaos. There will be a chance of big chaos, and those rights which our citizens were following, they might not get those kind of rights, isn't it? So now if there is a constitution, it will protect its citizens that so and so law or concept of the government will not be applicable if it is against the direction of our constitution. All right, so this is what it is trying to tell us. Now in our chapter we have fundamental rights. All right, so what are the fundamental rights? So there are basically 6 fundamental rights guaranteed by the constitution of our country. They are right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, right to constitutional remedies. So these are the 6 basic fundamental rights given by the constitution of our country. All right, so let's start with our first fundamental rights. All right, so the first fundamental right is right to equality. Article 14 to 18. Alright, so the first one is right to equality. Now, what does right to equality means? Right to equality is if I am the citizen of my country, alright, if I am the citizen of my country, if I am Indian citizen, then I have my right to equality. Alright, I cannot be abandoned, I cannot be declared as class 2 type of citizenship when it comes in front of the law. So I am always equal, as I am always equal in front of the law. This is what right to equality trying to tell us. In Article 14, there are two rules: equality before the law, equal protection of the law. Now these are the two rules, all right? Equality before the law. Now what does equality before the law means? It means law should be equal to all. So number one rule is equality before the law. Alright, number one rule is equality before the law. It means law should be equal to all. What does this mean? If I am a citizen of this country, there are two people, Mr. A, Mr. B. Alright, there are two people, both are the citizens of this country. Now Mr. A over here is a common man. Alright, common man. And Mr. B over here, let's say he is a big political figure. Alright, political man. This man is a common man, Mr. A. Now this man is a political man. Now political man means he has power. Let's assume he has power, he has money, he has everything, isn't it? Now this is a common man, he has nothing. Alright, now equality before the law. Now if these two people commits the same crime, if these two people commits a same crime, let's say murder. Alright, these two people commit the same crime, both of them, they have killed, they have committed a big crime. Alright, now equality before the law means Mr. A, even though he is a common man, and Mr. B, even though he is a highly political man, he has a high rich, both will face the same amount of judgment, both will face the same amount of law as provided. Alright, this is what it's trying to tell us, and should be equally ministered. Number 2 point is both Mr. A and Mr. B who has committed the same crime, they will be equally ministered, they will be equally looked upon. The law will never say, alright, this belongs from a common background and this person belongs from a higher background, so there will be a discrimination. No, in eyes of the law, under the constitution, on the right to equality, article 14, both these men will have same trial, they have to face the same amount of trial. Alright, and the third is the right to sue and to be sued, to prosecute and to be prosecuted for the same kind of action. So both Mr. A and Mr. B, although they have a different background, they have right to sue and right to be sued. If Mr. B, who is a politician, commits a crime, then we can sue him. Alright, he can be sued. And if Mr. A, who is a common man, does the same mistake, then he has the right to sue and to be sued. Alright, over here now, Sue means to file, and to be sued means someone has filed against you. Alright? Now, this is what right equality before the law is all about. Now, moving on to next. Next rule, we say equal protection. Equal protection The next rule, number 2 rule, is equal protection of the law. Now, what does this mean? All persons under similar circumstances shall be treated alike, both in the privileges conferred and liabilities imposed by the law. For example, again, the previous one was Mr. A and Mr. B, isn't it? There are two persons, Mr. A and Mr. B. Mr. B is a big one. B with the big name. And Mr. A is from a common background. Alright. Mr. B is a big man and Mr. A is a common man, just like you and me. Now, equality before the law means if these two persons commits the same crime, then, and if their crime has been proven guilty, then they are equally protected and equally punished also. Alright? Before a crime has been proved, then both these persons are not guilty, isn't it? Mr. A and Mr. B, they are not guilty. So they will be protected by the same law. They will not be, they will just, all those accusations will not be converted into judgments until and unless they are proven guilty. As soon as they are proven guilty, then the judge will give a verdict. And when the judge will give verdict, then equal protection of the law applies under right to equality. First, say they have committed a murder and they have been proven guilty and they get 10 years imprisonment. Alright, they get 10 years of imprisonment. Now, both Mr. A and Mr. B will get same amount of imprisonment. Alright, under equal protection of the law, right to equality, article 14. Alright, so there is no bias and there will be no excuses just because someone belongs from a common background and the another person belongs from a very high background. Alright, so this is what equality before the law is all about. So in next class we will be starting with article 15. Alright, so this is this much for the day, and if you have any questions then you can always call me. Alright, thank you.